Thank you for taking time out of your weekend to attend my campaign kickoff event. My name is Roberto Enriquez, and I am running for Kentucky State Representative of District 66 in Boone County. I have asked you here today to help celebrate that launch of my campaign and to ask for your support with your time as well as with your money. I believe we are at a critical turning point in our Commonwealth. We spent the past 4 years enduring the verbal abuse of a governor who showed nothing but contempt for the people of Kentucky. We saw Republican members of the legislature that were either unwilling or too afraid to stand up to the governor and tell him that his behavior was unacceptable. My opponent in this race remained silent about the governor's behavior despite his own statement saying, and I quote here, "Disagreement is healthy, but it should not result in name-calling or incivility. Win or lose, I will do so with integrity, civility, and honor," end quote. Even though my opponent was not willing to stand against the former government, like he said in his statement, former governor, the people of Kentucky did, and they elected Andy Beshear to office. Almost immediately after the 2018 election, my opponent quickly started calling this Massey country. He assumes too much. He does not own this land, and he does not own the people who live here. We need legislators who understand that this land, this Commonwealth, belongs to the people, and that elected officials are there to serve those people. I will be that legislator. There are critical issues that our state needs to address. The majority party in the General Assembly appears to be incapable of openly addressing any of them. They have closed-door meetings to draft legislation without involving the minority party or impartial experts. Then they introduce bills at the 11th hour, leaving only hours to review them. In the aftermath of rushing the bills through with their supermajority, they have to revisit their poorly thought out legislation because of the unintended consequences that could have been addressed if only they had taken time to consider and review the bills carefully. The Republican Party in Kentucky has become a group that can only look at the present, the quick hit, the euphoria of the win, without regard to what happens next. We have seen this repeatedly over the years. The pension crisis. The pensions are in trouble due to poor decisions and management in the past. Republican solution? Eliminate the pensions with a non-defined benefit. Problem solved. What happens when firefighters, police, teachers, and other public employees no longer want to work in Kentucky because they can't look to a secure retirement here? They know they can do better elsewhere. The better solution: live up to the commitments our state has made and fund the defined benefits as promised. Pay for it by developing additional income sources that would benefit Kentuckians overall and stimulate business. Provide compensation that will attract the best and brightest, the most qualified teachers, police, and firefighters to Kentucky. People don't like abortions. Republican solution? Pass unconstitutional anti-abortion laws, even though the Supreme Court has already said these laws are illegal. Problem solved. What happens to healthcare needs or the mothers-to-be and the children? How can they afford medical care and housing without addressing healthcare and housing costs? The better solution: fund fact-based education programs. Provide access to affordable health care and birth control. The best way to prevent abortion is to prevent unwanted pregnancy in the first place. Mass shootings. Republicans say the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Republican solution? Eliminate the need for people to take training before carrying a concealed weapon. Make sure anyone can purchase a gun from a private citizen without a background check, because I'm sure the seller can tell that the buyer is a good guy just by looking at them. Problem solved. Except what happens because someone in the moment of crisis is not trained for it and they shoot the wrong person? What happens when the person doesn't handle or secure their gun properly and a child accidentally shoots themselves or someone else? Better solution. Require gun owners who open or conceal carry to take regular safety training. Eliminate permitless public open and concealed carry without proper safety training, and establish universal background checks. We need legislators who are willing to work to solve problems and not simply pander to the crowd or to highly funded special interest groups. I will be that legislator. Lack of quality jobs. Republicans say that we need to attract more companies to Kentucky in order to create those jobs. The Republican solution? Creating corporate welfare programs that give multi-million-dollar tax breaks and incentive packages to companies, but with no accountability for how many jobs are actually created for Kentuckians or for how well those workers are compensated. Better solution? Create programs that support partnerships between businesses and labor unions to create workforce grants for lower-income adults. Develop agri-tech accelerators that help Kentuckians launch new small businesses. We need legislators who will work to create a strong economic climate for both businesses and for workers. I will be that legislator. Underskilled workforce. Republicans say our public schools are failing and that our students lag behind. Republican solution: further reduce funding to public schools and fund private schools under the guise of charter schools. Add scholarship tax credits so millionaires can use them as tax shelters, thus depriving the state of even more revenue. Better solution? Fully fund public education mandates. Fund public schools at or above pace with inflation. Pay teachers like the professionals they are. Listen to the teachers when drafting legislation related to education. They are the subject matter experts on education. We need legislators who will listen to experts in their field and not be so arrogant to think they know better than the experts. I will be that legislator. I believe that we are at a critical turning point in our country. There's a fork in the road ahead. We have to decide which path we want to follow. One path looks like the easy way. The Republicans have supermajorities in the State House and Senate. It's easy to throw up our hands and say, I guess we just have to live with this. At least we have a Democratic governor, so that's something. After all, there are too many Republicans here in Boone County for us to be able to make a difference. There just aren't enough Democrats. I guess there's just not much I can do. I wish things were different. Then there's the other path. It's a rough and bumpy path. It's unclear what dangers there may be. There are parts of the path that are uncomfortable and may force us to get wet, to get cold, to get hot, to talk to strangers. Things that we really don't like having to do. But the end of this path is a place where we have a better Kentucky, one where our neighbors are healthy, where our children are living a better life, a Kentucky where the most vulnerable among us are cared for and able to live with dignity, one where we are proud of what we have done together and where Kentucky is the envy of the other states. We need legislators with a vision that goes beyond the issues of the moment. Legislators that can raise their heads and look at the horizon and blaze a trail to the future we deserve. I will be that legislator.